David Choe! Yes! We got Scottish comic book artist, Jock! Come on up here, Jock! Give it up for Jock! And last but certainly not least, speaking of legendary, we got famed comic book artist, writer, director, creator of the Dark Knight Returns Batman. Please give a warm welcome to Frank Miller! Yes!
I heard that. Hello there.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Frank? How's it going?
Oh, going okay. What about you?
I'm not doing so bad. I just got back into town. Someone told I literally, just for the audience, I worship this guy. He's a god to me, and they told me yesterday that I'm going to interview him, and I just met him. Thanks. And I just met him 2 seconds backstage, and now I'm in front of you guys. So just to set it up, that's.
I don't trust either of these men.
Frank, I just want to ask you, your parents, what did they think about you being a comic book artist?
I announced to my parents when I was 5 years old that I came in with a comic book that I'd drawn on typing paper and folded over and stapled
Right.
together. And I showed it to them and I said, "This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life." And my mother, just without batting an eye, said, "Well, you can do anything you can dream of if you just set your mind to it."
So she was very supportive.
Absolutely, and when I was in high school, I got more serious about it, and she got a little nervous because she realized I really meant it.
Right.
And the way she tells it, one time she was a night nurse, and so my father was a real morning guy, and who worked on building construction, designing kitchens and that sort of thing, and so they met almost like Arthurian lovers, in that she would come back in the morning from being a nurse, and he would just be getting ready to go out to work.
Would they have a little moment? Right?
Yeah, and they banged out 7 kids, and well, come on, they.
Wait, where are you? Are you in the middle or oldest?
I'm number 5, but you got to understand that generation had they won World War II, and when they got back home, they really they figured they'd saved the world. It was really time to repopulate it, I guess, because they gave us the baby boomers like my older siblings and the cuspers like me and so on. Anyway, they had these sessions where they discussed things it was the only time they had free of the kids, was these early morning conversations. And they like I said, like Lady Hawk, and they one time my mother brought me up to my father, saying, Frank's saying he's going to move to New York City, and I figured out just how to stop him.
So your dad wasn't so keen? Because
it was my mother who wasn't so keen, and my father just said, my boy's moving to New York, and I'm driving him there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because he was a New Yorker, and he was an ambitious man.
I just wanted to know if they were supportive or not, just because.
Oh, they were.
So when you started bringing home Batman money, the Daredevil money, you shared this with your parents. You bought them a nice house. You
Oh, I
spoiled.
but I did have a chance to take care of my father.
Your father had already passed.
He was gone. But it was but he got to see things starting to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So when that moment when you were like 5 years old, was that like? Because I feel like maybe I don't know how everyone else is, but I feel like I had a point when I realised that this is what I kind of wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, in the UK, it was a comic called 2000 AD that Judge Dredd came from.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And in the 80s, the talent they had working on that was insane, and I was just the right age for it to kind of like hit.
Right.
And as soon as I saw that, like that was it. That's what I wanted to do. But you're saying at 5 you had a comic, and that's
Yeah,
what you...
at 5 I was doing imitations of Superboy and Legion of Superheroes. Yeah.
I
How
mean,
about you, David?
I was when I was 5. I would ask my dad to my mom and my dad to buy me toys, and they're like, "No, we're not buying. We don't have any money. So draw it on cardboard, cut it out, put it on popsicle sticks, and that's your action figures." And you know, my parents are first generation. They came here during a war, and they're like, you know, usually Asian immigrant families, it's like, we came here for a better life. You're gonna either be a doctor or a lawyer. And I told them, I'm gonna be a graffiti artist. And my mom was like, that's wonderful, son. Anything you wanna do. You wanna write, you wanna be a vandal, you wanna write on walls. And I was like, it was either that or comics. So to have that that loving, like, support of like, you can like literally do whatever you want. It was very special. But you know, the first time I read Dark Knight when I was a kid, I'm reading it, maybe not when I was a kid, but I've reread it every couple years. I'm reading it going, is Bruce Wayne your dad or is it your mother? And now you're here, so you can answer the question.
Well, I'm glad to say Bruce Wayne wasn't my mom. You know, I'd be an even more confused man if that were the case. But no, the Batman was always to me a real mythic figure.
Right.
Sort of represented a kind of primordial dad. But like what a dad is when you're a real little kid.
Right.
You know, because when you feel like you're Carrie Kelly's size next to this giant. But no, I wasn't, you know, either consciously or unconsciously trying to recreate those two, you know, very real people.
Frank, you can't hear this guy.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't trying to recreate my parents in any way. In doing, you know, Batman any more than I was trying to recreate myself in Carrie Kelly.
You are quite similar though.
Oh, you're so sweet. It's the haircut.
At your desk over there where I saw your pencils under the thing, I didn't know, I thought you just go straight. So I say no more tracing for Frank.
Oh no, I plan everything. I'm a total planner.
No, I'm saying no more planning. Go straight to finish.
Oh, you're telling me?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Straight to
Oh.
I want to see it. I want to, like, you got it. You've been drawing for a long time. You should just go straight to...
I'm not listening.
Okay.
No, because I'm very architectural in the way I think about what a page is and what a picture is, and if I'm going to draw a car, for instance,
Right.
I'm going to structure it
Right.
because what I like to do is to produce a pencil drawing that's very schematic and doesn't have any blacks indicated on it at all, and then just attack the whole thing with a brush and go wild, knowing that the bones are there and then I can play off of them.
I'm very similar. I love making sure that like the foundation is right, and then you can like go off on top,
Right.
you know. But there's a solidity to it that I think that sometimes when people throw that style around, it can miss something because the underdrawing isn't there, or at least even the sort of vision of what's underneath isn't there, and all you see is like the mess. But what I love about both your guys' work is it's not as simple as that. You know, the ink. You know, I think we all love throwing paint and ink around and making textures and spatters, and that's to me still like the magic of that we get to do this. You know.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's just the surface, and that's the expression. And it's really interesting hearing that there is literally an architectural underpinning to which you then just like attack. You know? Yeah.
I mean, I'll
Attack
also,
without the architecture.
Yeah.
Also, I've got to say that I love the old tools.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to work with a flexible pen.
Yeah.
You know, and I dip into like, you know, this old-fashioned ink that, you know, but to me the absolute sexiest tool in the world is a horsehair brush, and it is the most flexible, beautiful tool there is. And that's why I disdain markers, because they're dead. They're a piece of felt.
Right.
Also, I've just got to say, part of it might just be being ornery, in that it took so damn long to learn how to use a brush that I'm not going to throw it away.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I still feel there's something very special about using traditional craft and ink and paint, and the way it can surprise you and move in a way that you could never really plan. You know, that I think that's legit. Yeah.
Because he never tells. You can't. That's why I love spatter. Is that you can't order it what to do really. It's gonna. If your wrist twists a little bit, all of a sudden you've got this strange stringy thing jumping across your drawing.
I want to say something about that, because people mostly know my art for like the graffiti stuff I've done, but I haven't really done that in like decades, and I'm primarily a watercolorist now, and a lot of that is due to the work you did with Lynn Varley. I have zero information about like how, if it was an ugly divorce or anything. Is there no chance you're going to get back together with Lynn Varley?
Well, I think that Lynn's mainly off doing her own stuff these days.
Your work with her watercolors changed my life. So.
It was a wonderful collaboration, and you know, I mean, I know I learned a lot from it.
So it's not going to happen again?
I don't think so.
What about romantically?
I think that's none of your damn business.
Thanks, that's fair. I'm probably not the right person to ask this, because I have paid no dues.
You've already gone real far, man.
I've paid no dues in the comic book business. I did one self-published comic 20 years ago, and then I've done like a variant here and there. But my very, very limited experience working with Marvel and DC is they're fucking pussies. And I'm never gonna work with them again. I guess I shouldn't say never, but I probably will not work with them again. What do you think about these artists?
Well, you might have just made sure of that.
What do you think about these young artists out here, like giving their like best work to these companies, and then like, you know, I know you've spoken very passionately about this topic before, but you know.
Well, I think, you know, I've been of several minds across many years about this, and I would say the most important thing, bar none, is to do your best work.
No matter what.
And if you spend some time doing it for you know, doing it and seeing that you don't own a piece of it or whatever, well then, you know, you've learned a lesson there. But you've put your time in, you've done good work, and you've learned a lot. So have no regrets, and just move ahead and make your decisions based on what you've learned. But I think that an artist has to be an adventurer. You know, here we write all these stories about adventurous, bold people. We can't be a bunch of pussies out there, you know. And an artist has to go out and take chances, and sometimes these chances mean getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've had a very good experience, like dealing with DC. I've done more for DC than Marvel, but DC particularly. And to me, that's kind of...
Jock, sorry, I'm going to backtrack. I love DC and Marvel. All right, keep going. Sorry.
No, but like, it's an interesting thing because I get what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. You know, I think increasingly in the world that we live in, it's giving us more opportunities to do our own thing and get it in front of people where people will consume it or enjoy it, and it's a different situation from when I started. But I will say that they've also given me, I guess, they've given me eyes on my work that I maybe wouldn't be able to get. Maybe I could have, if I'd gone a different path. But like the analogy that I always use, and this might be a little bit too obscure, but like Marvin Gaye had to sing "The World Is a Great Big Onion" before he could sing "What's Going On." Right. and that like Berry Gordy didn't want him to do "What's Going On" if he was a new artist. That would not be in the world. And like there's always a middle ground, and I think that I try and just pull the best from all of it, and it's given me the position now where and like when you did Sin City, I mean that was I'd argue springboard from what you had done before, and it gave us like this incredible visionary piece that I mean I can remember seeing that for the first time, and it just was like, oh my God, and this is Frank.
Right.
This is Frank. This is, I love Dark Knight Returns with all my heart. I love your data, but like when I saw Sin City, I was like, holy shit, this kid, sorry. But do you know what I mean? And it's really interesting because I do wonder whether that would have happened in the same way without Dark Knight Returns. But then you have literally gone the other way and seen great success from it. So it's all good.
Well, here's another example I've got to point out, because she happens to be taking a picture of us right now, but right in the audience there is we have a beautiful Carrie Kelly standing there. And do you think I wouldn't have wanted to make up Carrie Kelly? I mean, so by mixing it up with the whole Batman world and everything, I got to explore things of storytelling and character making that made me leap far forward from where I was before, and made me that much more ready to attempt things like Sin City. So it's I think anything that gets you there and makes you better.
Yeah,
I guess I came out a little hot by calling out Marvel DC, but I guess as I'm hearing you guys talk, what I'm trying to get at is, you as a writer are the best. You as an artist are the best. It's very innovative, but this is all before I ever met you backstage. It's just like my thoughts of Frank Miller and his legacy and what you leave behind and what you inspire is more than the writing, more than the art is the attitude. The attitude of just coming in and exploring and like, let's try this and pushing. And like I said, my very limited experience of working with the major companies is, I don't know if they would publish Dark Knight today. With the swastika nipples and all that. Like, I don't know if they would, like, it's just, there's so much pushback, there's so much fear, there's so much, like, and it's just, it's fearlessness. You've inspired fearlessness in me, and I've been fearless in my career, and then I meet artists all the time, whether they're comic book artists, graffiti artists, illustrators, fine artists, and it's like, they're just ruled by fear, and then the galleries or the book publishers, so it's like, I want for you as just meeting you and like you being my hero, I want your legacy. It already is for me to be fearlessness and just go for it.
Yeah, man. But I will say so. I'm currently writing and drawing my own Batman book, and obviously, Frank's shadow looms large when you take on a project like that. But DC, I've had to jump through no hoops. They let me do whatever I want essentially.
Nice.
To a degree, But like, again, my experience has been pretty good, and they let you go off, I feel like I actually feel comics are getting better in that way. I think there's more inclusivity, there's a more variation of styles and interest in storytelling, and and the companies, or at least the editors that are working on those books, realize that. And they're letting it flourish, like DC have this black label thing, which is kind of like a slight sidebar to the mainstream stuff, right. and you can take chances, you can do different stuff, and like I'd say now, a book like Dark Knight would be a black label book, for example, and so, again, like I'm not sort of defending the sort of, you know, but my experience has been pretty cool. It's been good, which has been great. You know.
I'm very happy for you, Jock.
Thanks, buddy.
What's up, LA? Frank Miller in Los Angeles. What's it like for you being back in LA? I know you did RoboCop 2, and the popular drug in RoboCop 2 was Nuke.
Yeah.
Remember Nuke?
Of course, I've got some.
LA seems. Oh, you got some?
So what are we doing questions or anything with this? Is there anyone like burning questions? Can we do that? I'm not quite sure what the setup here is.
I don't know.
Whatever we want to do. Does anyone have like a burning
Frank,
question?
you want to take questions or?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Wow, this crowd's wild. This guy's super. What's going on? Oh, all right. Anyone else? Do we have a mic, or does everyone have to scream their? All right, let's go with screaming for now. Who's ever the loudest will, you know.
Yeah, go.
Where was All-Star Batman and Robin gonna go? Like end.
What?
Where was All-Star Batman and Robin gonna end?
When was All-Star Batman and Robin gonna end?
Where? Where was it
Oh,
going?
where?
Where was it going to end?
Yeah.
Let's go back to no questions.
What am I going to do if Jim ever says, what am I going to do if Jim ever calls me up and says, hey Frank, let's move ahead with this thing. I'm going to, I can't, we can't do it, Jim. I was in LA and I blew the whole ending to a whole big audience. You know, we never talk about stories before they come out. Come on.
Where's your passion these days, Frank? Are you wanting to do movies, TV shows? Are you still into superhero stuff? You want to work for, you know? Oh, okay. Sorry. Just what's lighting your fire?
I'm looking at all the different possibilities that I think that I've been kind of taking a long view on comics and illustrated stories and all of that
Right.
in the past few years, and jump back in on some superhero stuff, some of the traditional superhero stuff, to get a taste of that. But also I'm looking at other things, like, you know, it's like I know I've got to do a children's book.
You
Like an
have to.
illustrated
You
children's
have
book.
to. I would love to see.
Because I'm a
Frank
big
Miller.
fan of the classic old illustrated children's.
Does anyone here want to see a Frank Miller kids book?
Thank you.
Yes. See, corner that market, Frank. Corner that market.
Oh, it's a big market, though.
Yeah.
I don't think one person's going to corner that one.
But with hearing what Jock's experience with DC currently is, you know, when I deal with people in film, television, the limited stuff I've done in comics, it just seems, my experience, tons of notes, tons of pushbacks. We love it. They always start with a positive. We love it, but can you dial this back? I'm just wondering, after everything you've done and everything you've accomplished, is there hidden scripts? Is there stuff you wrote in the 80s, 90s, the 2000s that just, you wrote it and they're like, this, we'll never publish this, or like, you know, we'll never buy this or make this? I gotta imagine that there is.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it to me! Give me that shit!
No, they're staying that way. They're staying that way. You know, it's like they were of their time, and hell, you know, some of them are just plain awful. So no, it's I'm not playing a nostalgia game. I'm interested in going new places with this stuff.
Got it. Interesting. Yeah, I have stuff in the vault that just, I'll just wait till I die. Someone's gonna put it out or just burn it. It's like.
So, do you have any desire to draw any comics?
Yeah. What do you think I'm doing on stage? I'm acting. You guys didn't hear me. Basically,
Yeah.
I'm shooting my shot right now.
Yeah.
I'll play the fucking nostalgia game. You got that shit in the basement? Give it to me. I'll draw it.
Wow.
Give it to me, Frank. I'm asking in front of Los Angeles right now. I have too much respect for you guys. I have too much respect. Comic book artists are the greatest artists in the world, and I have so much fear walking into that space. I would like to. Every year I go, this is the year. This is the year I'm going to draw a comic, and then I tuck it back. I shrivel up. So, maybe if Frank gives me one of these horrible scripts that he's hiding, maybe I'll get my horsehair brush pen out.
Yeah, I mean, drawing a comic page is it is tough, but also just to speak to what you were saying earlier, like I feel like genuinely lucky that I've been able to just pretty much do what I wanted to do, and pretty, like I don't know whether it's luck, whether it's just like I feel like comics support people that have a more sort of individual style, which is a really nice thing. And if you find people that like what you do, like people say like, oh, where do you get your style from? Like, I've got no idea. I just try my best all the time to make something that I think looks okay. There's no rhyme or reason to it. But I do think that when you do that, that's the stuff that people actually respond to. I mean, that's art and music in general, right? You put your heart into it, people will feel that, and that's what people respond to. And I feel genuine, not to go back to the company thing, but I feel lucky that I've somehow been able to do that within that structure as well. That seems very lucky to me, and I'd say that's what Frank has always done is. You've always been you, you can't deny that. You've always been undeniably you, and I think that's really special.
Thank you. Golly, Jock just said something really cool about me. I think that when people talk about style, it's one thing that us artists like to do is we like to sound smart. We really like to sound smart. And so when people talk about their style, they'll often talk about how they developed their style and so on. And then you get down to brass tacks. People don't really the only way to develop a style, my belief, is that it's by solving a long string of problems. And an endless string of problems. But as you solve it, you often are coming up with particular solutions that are yours, and yours alone. Because there are a zillion problems that nobody can solve for you. And because it's your individual mind that came up with those solutions, your stuff looks different than other people's.
Yeah.
And hence you have a style. Whereas someone whose approach is completely borrowed from other people's, they'll say, that guy doesn't have a style, because it's all borrowed. It's all been around the block a few times before anybody saw it before. And so it's there's that. That's my definition. I remember that one of my one of my heroes in the medium said that an artist's style was nothing but an accumulation of his mistakes. So, again, that's another debate we could all have.
Yeah.
Frank, I would love to know what your kids' book is going to be about. And also, do you have kids' books that you are into? What would this crowd be surprised that you're into? Pokemon, like Dragon Ball, Airbender. Because your sweater is amazing. Like, I don't know what character that is, but I'm like, Frank's into some weird shit.
She's here. I'm looking forward to meeting this artist. I don't even know her name. What's it say on this? Who is this?
Warble. Oh, there it is.
Warbie Yama.
Okay,
that?
what's the artist's name?
What's
Oh, you're on the
artist
spot
name?
now.
I met them today.
She's here?
He's here. They're both here.
They're here?
Yeah.
Tell them to try out for artists for Frank's kids book that he's working on right now on stage.
Are they right here in this room?
Yeah, over there.
Would they please stand up?
No, they're in.
Yeah, someone go and get them. There
Someone
we go.
go get the artist that
Look,
did
he's going. He's literally
Frank's,
running over
sweater.
there.
Here we go.
How much time do we have left? Have we got time for someone to run over the room and pull someone from that table and then devise a children's book live on stage? Is that what we're doing now?
Yeah,
Is it-
Frank, you want to write the show, the TV show live on stage?
Will you go back to Daredevil?
Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Is that a consideration?
Well,
Judging from Frank's body language, I think he's more into Warble.
You know, I can't see it happening anytime soon. No. I had a good long run. In fact, 3 long runs on that character, and really, you know, it's a lot of fun memories. But it's
do you kind of feel like you said all you need to say, or like? Because I find one of the things about these characters, you know, the longevity, your Batmans, Daredevils, they change and warp and can be manipulated, you know, with each kind of new generation coming through. And do you find like, are you thinking like you've done Daredevil, or would you see him in like a, you know, like a maybe a different string to his bow now, you know, or something like that?
Well, I think that was then.
That was
You know,
then.
that
Yeah.
I'm much more in the business of making stuff up now.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I want to do. I'd rather be contributing to the future of comics than the past.
Yeah, well said.
What is the future of comics, Frank? Like for the kids out there, for the young aspiring artists and writers out there.
It's a David Choe comic. Come on.
What is
Come
the-
on.
Wait a minute. I'm going to tell them what to do?
No, just what do you see the future? Like what would like when kids ask me for advice on anything, I just like the world's changing so fast. I have no idea what to tell them. I'm like, just do your thing. But what does that look like? Like I was at you know, I get all my comics in LA, and there was a LA Times photographer there. I think this is when either Black Panther or Wonder Woman came out taking pictures, and I was like, hey, can you ask before you start taking pictures? And he's like, oh, I work for LA Times. I go, what are you taking pictures for? He's like, I'm doing a story of just old guys like you are the only people buying comics anymore. So I was like, oh, okay. So there doesn't seem to be any, when I shop every Wednesday for comics, there doesn't seem to be anyone under 20 coming in there.
There you go.
I know.
Yes.
Yes. One kid in a sea of adults.
No, I see a few.
I see a few.
And
I think the answer is...
There's another one.
Oh yeah, okay,
These
sorry,
are the
2
20s.
kids.
Yeah.
No, you gotta understand, the road you're going on down right now
Yes.
is one that I've heard since I first got into comics, which is, it's over.
I'm not saying it's over. I'm
It's
just
always,
saying-
it's always over. It was comic books were going out of business and nothing could save them. When I got my first job in 1976, and then a couple things started going right. You know, the direct market came along, and the distribution. They chased the mafia out of this distribution, and the comic shop saved comic books, and then the smaller publishers started popping up, and all of a sudden, like people like us could start owning our work, and had a lifetime investment in it, and it seems like this crazy little art form has a way of staying alive. I think for a long time, shows like this kept them alive. The same way that surely the Star Trek conventions had everything to do with those damn movies happening. Because these people kept showing up in Starfleet uniforms, and eventually Hollywood said, "Look, there's an audience here," and so this is there is a cultish aspect to comic books, and we've shied away from that term many ways because cults are, cults kill people, cults do bad things, but no, there is a cultish quality to it, which is like, all I can say is every religion starts out as a cult. So the fact that there's so much faith in comics.
You're our cult leader then. I'm proud to be part of this cult.
Yeah, I'm your Jim Jones tonight. That's what I really brought you here, this guy. All I mean though is that the same way that there are Star Wars congregants who would not let Star Wars ever die, and Trekkies who will never let Star Trek die. And it'll take a long, long time if they do. Comics and the attendant fantasies are going to survive for a good long time.
Yeah, even in the sort of 20, 25 years I've been going to cons, that if they feel more vibrant these days than they did even 20 years ago. So I'm hoping that's a reflection of more people enjoying this stuff. I remember one of my first editors said to me, and this was kind of, I started working around year 2000, I think, it was a way more kind of male-oriented business at the time, and I sort of love seeing families and kids and coming to these things now. It feels more appropriate. But he said comics, it's almost like opera. It might not always be mainstream, but there'll always be an opera house in a city producing amazing stuff. And I kind of like that. Like the art form itself won't go away because it's very unique.
You know why? Because comics are fucking awesome. It's like, it doesn't matter, like, I've seen every single, I don't care if it's good or bad, I've seen every remake of a rendition of a comic turned into a movie, turned into a TV show, and I've seen Sin City made into a movie. I've seen all of Mark Millar stuff turned into TV shows. I've seen all the cosplay, whatever comics related stuff. At the end of the day, it's the last art form where you can say or do anything, create worlds. There's no editor, where it's all, this is your limitation, and so that's why I keep coming back to it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That would be a great place
Frank's
to end on. I have
leader.
no idea what
Let's hear it for our cult leader, Frank Miller. This is the guy.
Oh, is this? Have we found the person? Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was the artist. It's just a credit card. Jeez.
Someone who lost the credit card right here on stage. And they'll leave the wallet at the bar, whoever lost the credit card.
Yeah, that's mine.
Tashira Barnes.
Is there a Tashira Barnes in the audience?
The artists are here.
Huh?
Are you the artist?
Oh.
He is the audience. Oh, they are here.
All right.
They are here.
Hey, come up here. Come up here.
Come up. Come up. Before the end of the day, we're going to have a children's book. This is brilliant. Come on.
So this guy's gonna draw Frank's children's book.
David Choe's doing part
I'll do the
two.
watercolor. I'll do the watercolors over your art. I'll do the watercolors over Frank's art. I'm pretty good.
There he is. Come up. Get a round of applause.
Thank you. I have no idea.
What's your name?
My name is Arut Tantasirin.
Lovely to meet you.
That's very nice
Say
to
hello,
meet you.
everyone.
Great to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
What do you think about Frank Miller wearing your sweater on stage?
Say it again.
What do you think about Frank wearing your sweater on stage and
I'm surprised. I'm shocked, actually. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I'm so glad you like my character, and I don't know who gave it to you or.
Who gave you that top, Frank? Who was it? Was it you? Did you secretly set this up so that you could come up?
Frank has expressed moving in towards children's books, so maybe you'll be the artist for his kids' book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm promoting for this guy. I'm trying to help you out, buddy. I'm trying to be your agent right now.
Oh, okay.
20%.
We just got the notice that that's time on this slightly shambolic panel, but thanks everyone for bearing with us. And thanks for coming out.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.